Yay! Okay. Just got back to Opelika, like, from Texas, probably like, I don't know, an hour and a half ago or something like that. And we ate some dinner. My mom made some chili, and now here I am getting a chat with my other family. So anyhow, yeah, so the workshop I went to in Texas, if y'all are wondering at all, it was just, I always talk about the Survival Podcast. It's a podcast I like to listen to a lot. This past 4 days while I was in Texas, I met an attorney who was talking to me about when I'm doing the t-shirt contest, some of the language that I need to put in there. I met Patrick from MT Knives, who does the neck knives. I met him there 2 years ago when I spoke at the event. So he has an event once a year. And so, I mean, there are just several people that I've networked with that, I don't know, I like to support small businesses, and they all have a dream, and they're all living, actually doing the things that they've wanted to do. So anyway, that's what I get from it. It's a nice community. So I have two communities, like the TSP community and then my backpacking, community. But I've met some really wonderful people there, and so it was really a good time to get done with the hike, get home, and then go see those people and kind of experience that and just kind of let go of everything. But I'm rambling now, so let's see what y'all are saying here. Fred says, when you carry a bear canister, what do you do with it when you sleep? Up a tree or beside your tent, never inside, I assume. Yeah, that would be kind of pointless, right? So what you're supposed to do is have it away from your tent. So I can't even remember the rule of thumb right now. I mean, I would assume like 100 yards, I would say at least 100 feet, but I will not lie to you and tell you that a lot of people don't have it right there next to their tent. So kind of defeats the purpose, yes, unless you're in an area like the desert where it's not common you're going to run across bears, and you're really just doing it to kind of for like mouse proofing, like Perk did. He carried his in the desert and always had it right there. But when you're in bear country, yes, you want to have it away from your tent just like you would your bear bags. So not many places that I know of in the desert require bear canisters, but if you just wanted to, it's really nice for having something that's rodent proof. But an earth sack would be lighter. Those are made out of like that bulletproof material. So Kevin says, what other hiking podcasts do you listen to or recommend? So the only ones, like I've listened to Steve's podcast, Steve Adams, Mighty Blue on the Appalachian Trail. Been on that one a couple times. Also, there is a podcast called the Limitless Podcast, but it's not an actual hiking podcast per se. And then there's the Tough Girl podcast with Sarah, who hiked the AT in 100 days, I believe it was, or it was 99 days. 99 maybe. But anyway, so she's pretty awesome. But honestly, the only podcast that I really listen to on a regular rate is the Survival Podcast. See, any possibility of a meet and greet when you are in the Sierras with your mom next year? I think that we may do a meet and greet for like Mount Elbert or something once we're going to go out there. I've had several people reach out and mention coming to hike with us, and I want to, but I also kind of feel like my mom and I haven't really done anything alone since I was 10 years old when she started having babies, and then she had 4 of them. So we don't really get to spend much time alone because there are always other children around, right? I'm one of 5. I got to share her. And she does a wonderful job of being shared by 5 children and my dad's. But like, this is kind of our trip, and I have a hard time saying no, because I love meeting up with subscribers, especially y'all, and I have met up with several of y'all, and would love to do that. But I'm also like, I kind of feel like I owe it to my mom to have this trip be just us. So I'm thinking something like you're talking about, though, like a dedicated meetup would be really cool. So I'm thinking maybe we'll do a day hike of Mount Elbert as like the summit of, the final shebang, because she's never done a 14er. And maybe we could do a meetup that evening somewhere. That would be kind of cool. So I'm brainstorming on that. I would like to do something next summer to where we do some kind of meetup. So maybe we can even do one out there on the West Coast, and then one around Elbert area, and then maybe even one on the East Coast when we come back. So I am thinking of doing something like that. So because I really would like to meet as many of y'all as I can. I mean, it would be so much fun. It really would. Why don't you think about doing a few meet and greet hikes with a group for safety, or meet up at an outdoor or backpacking convention? Sponsors might support you, pay you to be there. Yes, Robert, that's a great idea. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was talking about in a way, except it's not exactly the same thing, but kind of. But yeah, that would be great. I mean, that would be really cool. I would love to do meetups with y'all. Like I would that would be wonderful. So. Yeah, I don't know if any of y'all are planning to be at Trail Days in Virginia. So I've talked about, let's see, maybe doing something on the West Coast next summer just to meet up. And then also doing something at Mount Elbert area in Colorado. And then I'll be in Deanna. I saw she posted something a second ago. I think she may come to Trail Days with me. Well, she says she will. So, I mean, unless something comes up. So I think if I can get a booth at Trail Days, I'm on a waiting list right now, but if I can get a booth at Trail Days, I'll be there. So if any of y'all are in the Damascus, Virginia area, then I'll be there too. But Deanna says, Robert, that's what I've told her. Yeah, it would really be cool to do some kind of hike, like a day hike. And that's why I was thinking Mount Elbert would be cool. A 14er that I've heard is not, too bad. And that way, if people have been afraid to do a 14er, like there will be a group there together. I'm sure everyone will be going at different paces. I think that y'all are like, oh, I bet she'll just fly up that mountain. Y'all, I guarantee you there are plenty of y'all that will beat me up that mountain because I do not like uphills. For somebody who backpacks, I do not love uphills. And I'm the biggest baby. I'll be like, oh, I got to suck it up so they can't see me, whining about this uphill. But so if you don't love uphills, I don't love uphills either. And we will all just be miserable together because misery loves company. Jim says, how's your shoulder doing, Dixie, now after CDT? Any issues? Yes, it's still bothering me. I need to be doing the exercises that I was taught in physical therapy. I just haven't been. And so, yeah, it still kind of bothers me sometimes. I just need to get sorry, I'm fixing this microphone again. I just feel like it's rubbing. If y'all hear any weird, annoying sounds, please let me know. But anyway, yeah, so I need to be working on that because I need it. I need my shoulder. Rex says, if you had to do it again, what socks footwear would you use on an AT hike? Darn Toughs and Ultras. Boom. Easily stated. Don't get me wrong, Solomon's are great. It's just that when I needed something with a wide toe box, Ultras were there for me. And so they've done really well. They're very comfortable. I would say maybe they don't the exterior tears up a little bit faster than Solomon's I've worn, but as far as how my feet feel, the Ultras have just done a really good job. So, but they don't work for everybody. So I still do think when somebody's wearing Solomon's, I'm not like, ugh, you should be wearing Ultras. I'm just like, okay, cool, Solomon's work for you. So, but yeah, darn tough because there are warranty on their socks for sure. April says, what do you do to stay in shape when you're not through hiking? Well, I haven't really done a good job of that in the past. Right before the CDT, I did kind of start running a little bit, jogging a little bit at the Sportsplex here. And I was trying to work out. I would like to do a better job of that this time. I have said that before, but now I have kind of a little more downtime because I don't have 4 different jobs in between trails. It's like YouTube. And I'm trying to do more things with the website. And, but I may substitute teach a little bit. But anyway, I am hoping to do a better job of staying in shape. I'm hoping to start going to the Sportsplex. I'm tired of my arms looking like spaghetti noodles. And so I'd like to kind of, I don't know. Yeah, do some stuff, and run. And I'd like to be going with my mom because I know she's wanting to start training. Check this out. She ended up finding out the other day, she's like, my heel's really bothering me. And she thought maybe she had a heel spur. Plantar fasciitis. My mama has plantar fasciitis. So we're going to try to work with her and get her foot rolled out and stretching and stuff like that. And I want to start walking with her and maybe doing some jogging, putting some weight on our backs, maybe doing some weekend hikes and things like that. So to get us ready to go out on the PCT next year. And also April, I do eat pretty well. So I haven't yet. I've kind of been struggling with that since I've been back. I haven't been doing McDonald's, but chili, which isn't terrible, right? But normally I try to stick to meat and veggies. So kind of a loose paleo diet because I'll still eat sweet potatoes and stuff like that. Wayne says, hi Dixie, thank you I can't talk, y'all. Thanks for the Q&A. Would love to hear about your thoughts on the Triple Crown now after you have returned home. It's interesting because I hadn't even thought to share that. I would say that it feels like relief because I have completed that long-term goal. It was always really nice to it was nice to do the AT, but then when I decided to do the PCT, it became like a to-do list. So that was, when PCT was done, it felt good, but it was like, not done yet. And so at this point, I think I feel like, okay, that's done, but I feel fulfilled in that goal, but I don't feel like, well, I'm done now. You know what I mean? I feel like, okay, now it's time to pick another goal and do it. I kind of, I'm really glad that I have the Camino and the T-Araroa and some of those things to look forward to, because if I didn't, I would be like kind of bummed right now. So I have things in the future to look forward to, so that's exciting for me. But it is kind of bittersweet, and I am over now that I didn't get to finish how I wanted to. Kind of took a little while, took a couple weeks, and I mean, it still is kind of a bummer, but I'm like, well, it's done, and I did it, and I'm alive, and I'm moving on to the next thing. So I don't really feel stuck on that anymore. So that has changed for sure. But yeah, honestly, I'm just really excited for what the future holds and kind of continuing to build my brand. Also, y'all, I have to tell you about this. So I got an offer from, it's a person in South Carolina, a guy in South Carolina, and he said that he would like to, it's a private college, he would like to pay travel and lodging and pay me for speaking, pay me to talk at the school. So I'm so excited because I mean, I always thought it would be cool to kind of transition and be able to be like a speaker in between trails and adventures as my job off trail. I just thought that to kind of keep the same theme, talking about backpacking and of course the channel and everything. But I'm really excited about that. That's going to be like in February, March, probably beginning of March. So as far as I know, it's a public speaking. So like it's not just for a private meeting at the college or anything like that. So if he allows me to, I'll share that information. And if any of y'all are in that area, then you can come, and that would be pretty cool. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of new, but that's not what you asked. But I guess that's kind of another thing that I moved on to and I'm excited about. So yeah, it feels strange to be done with the CD or the Triple Crown, but also I feel fulfilled and I'm like, okay, what's next? So Rebecca says, how are your toenails? They're normal. They look completely normal. They feel normal. I found out my friend Airborne, I don't know if any of y'all saw me post on Instagram or Facebook. My friend Airborne just finished the PCT. He did a yo-yo, which means he went from Mexico to Canada, turned around at Canada, and went back to Mexico. Is he crazy or what? But yeah, he just finished a couple days ago. And his name, if you're interested in seeing, I know he's still doing some posts, but his name on Instagram is and then John Schwartz. So it's JONSCHA, hold on, SCHWARZE. JONSCHWARZE. There we go. So if you're just interested in seeing any of his adventures, but I just thought that was insane. So I think he's planning on doing more stuff like that in the future, but yeah. So anyway, the reason I brought him up is he now has 2 ingrown toenails, and I thought that was interesting. So it very well could be that, hiking like a mad person causes ingrown toenails, and he said his are not infected, but anyway, so yeah, so toes are good. Ruth says, any books planned or short stories about your trail experiences? Yes, I would like to sit down when I have some time to just and just write. And I want to do a book for the AT, the PCT, and the CDT. So, and I might do something short stories also. I haven't really thought about that, but Robert says learn the ukulele too. Yeah, that'd be cool to be able to take it with me on a trail. Jonathan says, what was your favorite book / audio book from the CDT? Okay, so I know this sounds crazy, but I really loved Patrick Swayze's book. I think it's called Time of My Life, or I've had the time of my life. I mean, go figure, right? But I think the only book he's done. And so it was an audio book, and I listened. It was him and his wife, talked a little bit too. But it was just, I don't know. I didn't think, I was like, oh, how good can Patrick Swayze's book be? But it was so good. And y'all, I did not know how much he actually had his hand in different movies, and just how talented he really was. So it was very inspiring. And also Louis L'Amour books. I just love Louis L'Amour books. They're so good. So any of those, the Sackett series. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm going to have to name my child like Sackett, or, have that in the name somewhere or something. Because I just, like those Sackett men, those men are something else. Tim says, hey Dixie, what was your favorite camping spot for each of the trails? Oh man, that's difficult. I might have to think. That might be one I have to think on. Honestly, I can just kind of give a blanket answer. Any place where I can set up that's like on a ridge, that I can see the sunset and the sunrise, that's gonna be the favorite. Something about that, especially if I orient the tent to where I can see both from the inside of my tent. I know it sounds lazy, but I mean, it's nice to be able to like wake up and make coffee in the vestibule and watch the sunrise. Is pretty great. So I don't know that I could tell you a specific spot, but any place like that, especially the sunrise, because a lot of times I'm still hiking when the sun's setting, but if I can see the sunrise, it's pretty magical. Lloyd says, what are Perk and Aaron up to these days? So Aaron is at his home, and he hasn't officially announced, but he's doing the AT next year. So maybe I just stole his thunder, but I think I've mentioned that to y'all before. At least that's as of now what his plan is. But he has, as far as I know, he hasn't like announced it and like a start date and any of that. But so I think he's kind of prepping for some of that. And then also his mom just had knee surgery, so he's been helping her out. And that's like immediately what's been going on. And Perk is staying with a friend in New Mexico, and he's like doing all sorts of stuff. And he messaged me after Veterans Day, because I told him Happy Veterans Day. He says that that's Halloween for veterans, because he goes and you get like all these, instead of candy, you get like stuff from different restaurants. And also on Veterans Day, he likes to map out like when to be where for what, and he takes full advantage of that, as he should. So I hope all of y'all had a good Veterans Day. But so yeah, he's doing well, just hanging out in New Mexico with one of his friends for a while, and I think helping farm goats right now, but I don't know what his long-term plan is. Mark says, given your educational background, have you ever considered doing a vlog series that covers the, gemological, am I saying this right? Forces that create the various hiking trail climates that you encounter on trail. Okay. No, I haven't, but that would be kind of cool, I guess. It's something that I would actually have to study up on before I talked about it, which wouldn't be a bad thing to learn. So I can definitely add that to the list of, and I know you said given your educational background, but yeah, I never really studied, anything. I mean, I studied like some basic geology and soil science and stuff like that, but it was very basic, because it was more heavy on the engineering and like a little on the biology, and then less so on other things. So anyway, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it would be neat to cover. I kind of want to branch out. I want to branch out and do some different things. One of the things that Aaron and I had talked about doing was, and I think I may have mentioned it to y'all before, but I have horrible posture, and I know that backpacking has not helped that at all. So I really want to work on it. So we thought about documenting that and showing it, like, if you're somebody that backpacks a lot and you get that hunch going with your pack, and I already had it, and then, it's just not gotten any better. So just kind of ways to work on that, even if just off trail. So we were gonna do something like that. Still might do that, but so yeah, I do kind of want to branch out. So I appreciate that suggestion. What was the name of that posture contraption that you mentioned on a previous Q&A? I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a strap thing, and I have it still. I haven't been wearing it like I should, but it's like an X strap across your back. I mean, if you just Googled like posture strap adjuster or something, I'm sure it would pop up. But it's like a crisscross thing, and it just kind of reminds you, it puts pressure on your shoulders and reminds you to kind of pull them back. So I don't remember what it was called though. But yeah, it does work when I'm wearing it. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do this. Rachel said, what did Perk use to make his coffee on the trail? So on the AT, he used a percolator. That's where he got his trail name. On the PCT, he used an AeroPress. And then on the CDT, he decided to go a little bit lighter than both of those and do pour over. But the pour over took so long to filter through that the coffee often wasn't. Now we're talking about coffee, and I'm like, I got to reach for my addiction. But apparently the coffee was cold by the time it got done filtering through. It just wasn't as warm. So I think his favorite was probably the AeroPress. Brad says, any thoughts on hiking in Patagonia? Yeah, for sure at some point. Not, I would say, in the next year or two, but it could change for sure. So, but yes, all of those for sure. I basically like the sky's the limit now. I could just whatever. But the Camino is something my sister wants to do. The PCT, finishing it up, mom wants to do that, but I need to do that. Like I need to feel fulfilled. And then the TA in New Zealand, I think it would be cool. And it's kind of well known, but like not as well known, I feel like, as the AT, PCT, CDT, at least us here in the States, right? So it's kind of like, and it's also, I think, would be a good transitional country as far as doing something, not in the US because they speak English. So kind of cheating, I guess. But Cameron says, we know you're glad to be home, but is there any one thing about the trail you're missing already? Just the simplicity, just the simplicity of I wake up and I walk and I think and I sing and I listen to music and I listen to books and the peace of that, there's not always stimuli. I mean, there is, but it's like natural, so it's not overwhelming. It's not a phone dinging or I don't know, the dog's barking, the whining to go out, and I don't know, just all that stuff, that it's just literally you with your thoughts, and it's a place that you're kind of selfish, and I don't know, in life, I've always been like very family oriented, so I'm always, if somebody needs a ride here or there or whatever, my family is very close knit. Like we always all look out for each other, and so it's kind of strange for me to be on trail where, and I'm still looking out for like my friends out there, of course, but it's the first place where it's truly about, what do I want to do today? How many miles do I want to do today? What do I want to eat today? And so in the first place it was ever like that for me was when I lived in Colorado because I didn't know anybody there. So, if you're a person who's always kind of considering other, and I'm not saying any of this is bad because that's the way I am and that's the way I was raised, and I love my family and would do anything in the world for them. I'm not saying, that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's different for me on trail because it's not like that. So it's very simple. It's very simple, very quiet, and I'm alone with my thoughts. But then I really miss home, and miss my dogs. So it's just the complete opposite, I guess, is the way to say that. Like earlier, I was using the bathroom. My sister brings her hamster to and from where she stays to go to college. She's like 45 minutes away from here. But she brings her hamster home when she comes home, and she'll have him in the ball rolling around. And I had the door obviously not pushed to, and like the hamster rolled in the bathroom to hang out with me, and I was like, oh, that's something you don't see on trail. I have had like birds swoop down and like almost, scalp me while I'm going to the bathroom on trail, but I don't know. But also, I love not having to dig a hole, so it's pretty great. So that's why I'm really looking forward to sharing that experience with my mom next year, because just, you hadn't lived until you had a bird swoop at your head, so while you're trying to go to the bathroom. Mark says, what's the most memorable takeaway from hiking the AT, PCT, and CDT, seeing a cougar face to face? Yes, the AT, I would say being bluff charged by a bear and hiking Katahdin in the snow and ice. That was pretty epic. And then the PCT would be the pass that I felt like I was going to fall off of, and the river that I thought I was going to be swept away in. And then on the CDT, probably, yeah, staring at that mountain lion for a minute and a half was pretty crazy. And the grizzly sightings too, but honestly, the mountain lion scared me more. So yes, so I would say those are 3 things. And what do you know? They all have to do with fear and overcoming a sketchy situation. So yeah, but those are the ones for sure. What section of the CDT would you recommend for a section hike? I would say anything in Colorado is pretty beautiful. So, and there should be a lot of information like on the Colorado Trail, should be a lot of traffic there. So I would say that that's a good section. Also, the Wind River Range is phenomenal. So I would say those 2 things. Most of Colorado and the Wind River Range. Also Glacier National Park. You go there and do some sections. Gary says, what are your thoughts on Heather Anderson being a triple crowner and completing a triple crown in one season? Yeah, she did the calendar triple crown. I think that that's incredible. I think that that's wonderful. And, you know, a lot of people say things like, oh, if you went that fast, you couldn't have seen anything. But I'm like, maybe, but maybe they saw exactly what they wanted to. You know, for everyone, the trail is so different. For some people, they're going out there to get over a divorce. Some people are going out there to walk off their time in the military. Some people are going out there to take it slow and really take in nature. Some people are trying to challenge their bodies, their physical strength, their mental strength, because it's not just physical, it's so mental. You know, with a thru hike, you're not getting to lollygag in a lot of areas. That kind of has a negative connotation, lollygag. And so you don't get to explore and enjoy and really soak in as many areas when you thru hike as you would, you know, if you just did a weekend or a week long. And it's just what you're looking for, you know, and that's really why people say hike your own hike. That's exactly what that means. You know, you have to enjoy it how you want to and get out of it what you want to. And so Heather Anderson has set records. You know, she is a beast. She's strong mentally, physically, everything. And I think it's wonderful what she does. I don't know if I could, you know, and I don't, that's not my style. I like to, you know, capture things. And sometimes I like to push myself physically. So the section I did, you know, 24-hour challenge. But I just kind of like to do a mixture, you know, and I normally take a long time on my thru hikes, and I'm okay with that. But I think it's incredible, and I think that she is inspiring a lot of people that do want to push themselves like that. And you know, she's another woman that's getting out there and doing her thing and not being told like, oh, you can't do that because you're a little girl, you know. So I think it's great. And as far as if I would want to do another triple crown, maybe. I mean, I can actually see, like, I remember thinking, when you do that, why would you want to do it again? And now that it's been some time, I'm like, you know, I could see myself doing the AT again. I really could. I easily could see myself doing the AT again. And then if I did that again, I bet it'd be like, well, you know, I'd like to give the PCT another go. And then like, well, now that I've done both of those, you know, I basically have the triple crown, just got to get that CDT again. So I could easily see how that could go. But I'm also thinking there's so many beautiful places that aren't in the US that I would also like to explore, and other countries and other cultures that I would like to experience. So I'm going to head that direction. And then if I'm like, man, I really miss AT, PCT, CDT, guess what? They'll be there. So, but yeah, I think it's incredible. And if y'all aren't familiar with her, you should definitely Google her name and check her out, because she's got some really great accomplishments. You know, I'm just like a normal, like, slow person who hikes, and she sets some records. It's great. But you know, yeah, you should check her out. Fred says, if you do more books, please do an audio book version. I'm too lazy to read it, but I listen to almost a book a week. Yeah, I'm going to do an audio version of the How to Prepare to Hike the AT book. So that is also coming. Jim says, Dixie comic book. How about a hiking book for kids? Maybe. That might be something in the future. Definitely not immediate future, but long term. Jim says, Dixie, love your titles for your videos. What title will you use for your CDT movie? I don't know yet. I don't know. Aaron is normally the one that creates some of that. Sometimes he'll like bounce an idea off of me. He'll be like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, let's try this instead. And then he'll be like, and then he throws something back, and it's like, yes, that's perfect. So I'm not sure yet. I would say, I think Aaron did mention something about he might use something about a create your own adventure kind of trail. So something, it'll be kind of themed that I remember him mentioning anyway. But Colin says, thanks, Dixie. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here again. It feels good to get home. I'm going to get into some kind of normal. We will do this again, pretty soon. So we can, like I said before, we can do Q&As. I feel like family when I'm talking to y'all. It's really nice because, my family will talk about it. Don't get me wrong. Like I can chat with them about thru hiking, but they're kind of like, okay, we've heard it, So y'all are like my thru hiking family I can talk to about. So yeah, thank y'all for that, and let me have that outlet because it's really great. All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much, and I'll see y'all next time. And I'm gonna go and start trying to get some of this gathered up in the post that I said I was gonna do in Patreon. So, all right, y'all. Have a good rest of the week. All right, bye.